Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mike, and today I'm talking about a topic that might save some of you a ton of money, heartbreak, and legal headaches down the road. We're talking about why every foreigner dating a single mom in the Philippines should ask for a CENOMAR. That's the Certificate of No Marriage Record. Yeah, I know it sounds a little formal, boring, and maybe awkward to bring up, but trust me, if you're serious about a Filipina, especially a single mom, this tiny piece of paper could save your future. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's get into it. First of all, what is a CENOMAR? A CENOMAR is an acronym for Certificate of No Marriage Record. It's an official document issued by the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA. It's proof that a person has never been legally married in the Philippines. Think of it as the government's way of saying, yep, this person is single, legally single. Now, why does this matter? Because in the Philippines, divorce is illegal. Unless someone has widowed or gotten an official annulment, they're still legally married. Even if they've been separated for years, have a new partner, and swear that their past is behind them. So when you're dating a single mom here, there's always a chance that she's still married on paper. And if she is, that means that you can't legally marry her. So why is this so important? Now, I'm not saying that every single mom in the Philippines is hiding something. I'm not saying that at all. Most Filipinas are honest, caring, and upfront, but some, well, they may omit certain details, especially if they think that it might scare off a foreign guy. Maybe she says that her husband left 10 years ago. Maybe she says they were never officially married. Maybe she says the marriage doesn't count anymore. But here's the truth. If it's not annulled, it's still valid. That means you could fall in love, build a life together, even buy property or raise kids, but never legally marry her. I've seen foreign guys spend years thinking they were with a single woman, only to find out that she's still legally tied to another man. And when they find out, it's often too late. Now here's where things get serious. If you ever plan to get married in the Philippines, you'll be asked to provide a CENOMAR from both partners. If your Filipina partner's name pops up in the PSA system as already married, boom, you can't get a marriage license. You could spend years in the relationship, plan a wedding, and then have the whole thing blocked because she's still married on paper. Even worse, if she owns property or you two buy something together, you might be walking into a legal mess. Let me explain. Because under Philippine law, if she's still married, any property she acquires could be legally considered conjugal property with her first husband. That means even if you paid for the condo, her estranged husband could technically have a legal claim on it. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how it is. So this next part of the video is downright alarming. I remember reading about this some time ago. There was this foreigner, a retired guy from the USA. He came to the Philippines looking for a slower pace of life and maybe even a little romance. One afternoon in Cebu, he met a Filipina, a sweet, single mom who said her husband had been gone for years. She told the foreigner they'd separated long ago, and she was free to move on. The foreigner believed her, not knowing that being in a relationship with her was illegal. He assumed that they had divorced long ago. He didn't know that there was no divorce in the Philippines. She seemed charming, caring, and devoted. They started dating seriously, and soon the foreigner was head over heels in love with her. They moved in together. He was paying for rent, groceries, and school fees for her kid. Within a year, they started planning a wedding. But here's what the foreigner didn't know. The Filipina was still legally married. Her husband had never filed for an annulment, and even though they hadn't lived together for years, they were still married on paper. The Filipina knew this, but she also knew that the foreigner had never asked for a CENOMAR. One day, out of nowhere, the estranged husband just showed up. He suddenly became friendly, saying he wanted to meet the foreigner. A week later, the foreigner received a message from the Filipina's husband. It said, "I know you're living with my wife. That's adultery in the Philippines. Unless you pay me, I'll go to the police." Our foreigner was shocked. He didn't know that adultery was a criminal offense in the Philippines, but it is. And since the Filipina was still legally married, the foreigner could actually be charged with a crime. So he ended up paying the blackmailing husband thousands of pesos to make peace. But the payments didn't stop. Every few months, another demand came. More money, more threats. Eventually, the naive foreigner realized that he was trapped in a scam built on lies and paperwork, all because he never asked for one simple document, a CENOMAR. All right, so you're thinking, okay, Mike, how do I actually get one of these CENOMAR things? It is simple. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. You or your Filipina partner can request a CENOMAR from the Philippine Statistics Authority, PSA, either in person or online at psahelpline.ph. You'll need her full name, date of birth, and a small fee, usually around 200 to 250 pesos. They'll check the National Marriage Database, and within a few days, you'll get an official document that says one of two things. No record of marriage found, meaning that she's legally single. With marriage record found, meaning she's still legally married. And that, my friends, tells you everything that you need to know. Now I get it, this is a sensitive topic. You don't want to offend someone that you care about. So how do you bring it up without sounding suspicious or disrespectful? Here's how I would do it. I would say to her, "Hey, I know this might sound a little formal, but since marriage laws are different here, I'd like us to make sure that we're both legally free before we can make any long-term plans. Can we go check our CENOMARs together?" That way, you're not singling her out. You're putting yourself in the same position. You're saying we're both being responsible. If she reacts calmly and agrees, great. That's a good sign that she has nothing to hide. But if she gets defensive, angry, or refuses, that's a red flag, my friends. Now, let's be fair. Not all single Filipina moms with complicated pasts are trying to deceive anyone. Many women in the Philippines were abandoned by their husbands and have no way to file for divorce because, again, divorce doesn't exist here. It's a sad situation. Some would love to move on legally but can't afford an annulment, which can cost hundreds of thousands of pesos and take years to finish. So if you find out that your Filipina is still legally married, that doesn't necessarily make her a bad person. But it does mean that you'll have to face reality. You can love her, support her, even build a life with her, but if you want to marry her, it's not going to happen until that annulment is complete. In case you're wondering, an annulment in the Philippines isn't the same as a divorce, because a divorce ends a valid marriage. An annulment, on the other hand, declares that the marriage was never valid to begin with. Common reasons for annulment include psychological incapacity, lack of consent, or fraud. But here's the kicker. It's expensive, complicated, and takes years. $4,000 later, and there's no guarantee that the judge will grant an annulment. That's why many Filipinas simply separate and move on without bothering to annul the marriage. So when you meet a single mom, she might be emotionally single, socially single, but not legally single. A few final thoughts. So why should foreigners ask for a CENOMAR from single moms in the Philippines? Because love isn't just about emotion. It's also about legal clarity and self-protection. You might trust her completely, and she might be the sweetest woman that you've ever met. But still, the smartest thing that you can do is confirm her legal status. That piece of paper could be the difference between a happy marriage or a lifelong mess you can't untangle. You don't want to find out after years of commitment that you can't even make it official because she's still married to someone else from 15 years ago. So be smart, be respectful, and protect yourself and your partner by being honest from the start. Because in the Philippines, single doesn't always mean single on paper. So what do you think? Should foreigners always ask for a CENOMAR before getting serious with a single mom in the Philippines? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on this. Even if you decide to cohabitate with a single mom in the Philippines, please be aware that if she's still married, technically, you're committing a crime. After watching this video, you can't say, "I didn't know this was illegal," or "I didn't know anything about CENOMARS." And hey, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell notification so you don't miss my next upload. Thanks for watching. This is Mike signing off from the Philippines. I'll see you in the next video. God bless and peace out.